All right. Terrible at remembering to hit that button. Good. So if you have any questions, please use the chat window and let me know any questions you have. I will try to address them during the course of our conversation, or if it's something that requires a little bit more insight or answers or information, I will follow up with that as necessary. So today we're going to be talking, these are what's new in your databank. We're going to be talking about two new integrations that we have available. One is available for general release. One is still in a beta testing phase, but both of them are available for clients, and kind of give a hint at some of the directions we are going with our upcoming integrations, not just these two, but future ones that are lining up. I'm going to talk about a new advocacy action type that is, there's a couple different ones, but there's one that's pretty exciting and I think really offers a lot to our clients using the advocacy software. And I'm going to be talking a bit about some changes to the way that PowerMail is reporting information. Really, the integrations is the big one. The advocacy actions are a really nice plus, but doesn't affect everybody. PowerMail, it's a really minor change, but it's worth mentioning, and it helps you get a better understanding of the data in your system and the records that you have in your database. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is our Call Hub integration. So we have an integration in beta test right now with callhub.io. Callhub.io is a telephony service that integrates with your databank. And let me put this on pause for one quick second. Pull up some other information for myself. Okay. All right. So CallHub is a telephony service that integrates with your databank. What that means is it provides voice and SMS services. So the voice and SMS service that is, and it also does a call center service. Call center, virtual banking, voice broadcasting, and SMS marketing. So, and for some reason, the last one, SMS sign up, got knocked off of here. Oh, there we go. It's on the next page. Okay, so what this is going to do is it allows you to have access to these different tools in CallHub and then have that data brought back into your data bank. So the way CallHub is doing everything is they organize it based on campaigns. So their campaigns are really what they kind of call are really channels of communication would be a better way to explain it. So they do a call center. Call centers are where you're basically setting up a phone bank system. So you'll have individuals who are agents. They'll log into CallHub, and what they're able to do is make phone calls via their phone, like via the smartphone, or online via web interface. You can set up the caller ID so it'll show any phone number. So it looks like people are calling from your office or your organization. And then individuals, as they're having these phone calls, will be able to take notes about the calls. What happened? Did they speak? Leave a message? Was there no message? And then when that call is complete, they go to the next call. Next person's information is ahead. The call hub will automatically connect them to that, and it just kind of keep moving through. And it's kind of an automatic system where we're jumping from phone to phone, phone number to phone number to phone number. Okay, the next, you can also do voice broadcasting. Voice broadcasting is where you're essentially recording a phone call. This is the robocalling. So you can have prepared messages, prepared calls. Those will be sent off to the phone numbers, and they can actually play different phone messages depending on if it's an answering service or an answering machine versus a real individual doing it. Now, so these are really two nice additions to it. And the ones we're most excited these days about is the SMS integration as well. So Call Hub has fully featured SMS messaging available. The SMS, as you know, we are all seeing in outreach efforts, SMS is getting more and more use and more play every single days. Compared to like email, SMS has an incredible performance rate, 99% open rates. Most people respond within 90 seconds. And about 1/3 of all people who receive SMSs will actually respond, will engage with that message. So, while there is the ability to do text messaging in your data bank, it is not anywhere near as full featured and as interactive as the SMS available through Call Hub. We also are, so the blasts, or we are just sending it out to everybody in their phone book. Unlike in the way the databank has it set up, you do not need to know carrier, mobile provider or carrier. You don't need to know any of that sort of thing. And you can even have different kind of flows set up in your SMS. So you can ask for recipients, you can send people to web forms, and you just kind of have different directions people take depending upon their interaction with the SMS. The fun one that I've been seeing a lot in recently in political campaigning, at least here locally in the Twin Cities, in the city of Minneapolis. We just finished a mayoral race in November, and it had, because we do ranked choice voting, there were 13 candidates on the ballot. So it was an incredibly full ticket, and there were a lot of people trying to get a hold of a lot of people. And as somebody who's actively involved in local elections, I was getting a lot of SMS campaigns. And one that I really found interesting was the peer-to-peer. So rather than just sending out a blast and being like, this goes to everybody, what ends up happening is similar to phone banking, where a person has like, these are the people you are going to call. In the peer-to-peer messaging, one agent, who is like the person who is logged in to Call Hub, will be able to handle multiple SMS conversations at the exact same time via a web interface. So it's not just like the faceless campaign sending me an SMS. It's individuals. Like maybe the first couple are canned responses, and then depending upon the responses that are coming back, it can turn into a conversation. Plus, you can use mail merge style inserting, like campaign, voting locations or places to meet, things like that. Finally, it does include SMS signup. So the SMS signup is where if you are having an event, or maybe you're having an action, you're having something go on, and you are trying to use that event to gain new subscribers and new people involved in your organization, you can provide them with a phone number that they can text. So they will text, hey, text here to become involved. Great. So they can text in. It'll gather their name. You can get name and email from that text, from people texting in. It will automatically create a profile for them in Call Hub. So the way then that works with your data bank is it's a two-way data integration between Call Hub IO and the data bank. What happens is, so first you are going to do your list segmentation and kind of creating who is going to be contacted in Call Hub, in Databank, and use those in with different subscriber lists. So you're going to have your different publications, and you can assign people to publications. And then what happens is you would log into Call Hub and then be like, okay, I want to pull in my subscriber list from the databank. So you go to Call Hub, you pull in your subscriber list from the databank. You're able to act within Call Hub using their full telephony services. And then, for instance, if you're using a Call Hub or call center, it'll automatically all the notes that are taken, the responses, that kind of stuff is automatically being added to the Databank member record, and new signups to call or people who use the SMS signup are automatically going to be created in your Databank as new records. So it's a two-way back and forth integration. Now I believe that the SMS part with the responses and the sends and all that has not been finalized yet, but that is on the horizon as well. This will be available for general release some point during this quarter. So it's Q1 2018, which we're in right now. We're at the very beginning of it. And we will be releasing it for general release this quarter. But we are now accepting, I forgot to put myself on Do Not Disturb. I can't get access to that. Anyways, so we are now accepting beta testers for Call Hub. Oops, moved forward too much. If you are interested in being a beta tester for Call Hub, please, I will include a sign up form in the follow-up email as well. And I do need to stress that the this integration, it is not like it is a separate platform. So it is required that you have an account with Call Hub in order to take advantage of this integration. Really, the purpose of this is to allow our clients to have a really well-developed, well-supported, and fully featured, highly functional calling platform that they can then pull that data and do the rest of their data communications and work in their data bank. The second integration I want to talk about is Brown Paper Tickets. Brown Paper Tickets is a ticketing company, which is similar to Eventbrite or Evite, these kind of automatic create your own event type platforms. It's free to post events and to sell tickets, and then they have low fees for tickets if you are charging for your tickets. So yeah, it's free to post an event on its own. Charges can be passed on to the ticket purchaser. Brown Paper Tickets, ooh, that's a funny overlap on that. They have, this is what happens when you design on a big screen and then move to a smaller screen. So they do have 24/7 tickets support for buyers and sellers, English, Spanish, and French. They have multiple types of tickets that you can buy, and they will do ticket delivery versus with email, will call tickets, or they will even print and mail out physical tickets to your guests. And they have iPhone and Android apps, which will do barcode scanning if people are printing tickets out at home, via email tickets where you just have the barcode for it. This integration is a one-way integration. It is not going from Databank to Brown Paper Tickets. Rather, you're doing all of the scheduling, all of that stuff in Brown Paper Tickets, and then that is being imported into the Databank on a daily schedule. So the Databank will create new member records. It will dedupe them. It'll create a new meeting and event. So you don't even have to create the meeting yourself. It'll automatically pull in the data from Brown Paper Tickets. It'll record who has attended there, and it'll record the value of the purchase. Also, Brown Paper Tickets does use, let's see, they have their own payment platform, but they also you can use AuthorizeNet and PayPal, two of the Databank payment gateways, so that you can even use the same gateway if you are using Brown Paper Tickets. This integration is available now for anybody who wishes to use it. One key point, though, is you must have meetings enabled in your Databank. Now the question is, why do you need meetings and events enabled in your Databank if you're using something else as a ticketing platform? Well, it's because we have to have somewhere to put the data. So that's really what it is. In the Databank, are the data types that we really have. Member records are really the key data type that we have available, and meetings and events are the other data type that we have. So it is needed to have the meetings and events feature enabled in your databank in order to take advantage of this. Really, just because we need a place to put that data so that you can segment, you can query, and you can report on the information and on the attendance. Oh yeah, and that one's available now. I will have at this point, please just email in if you client support at thedatabank.com if you are interested in getting this set up, and I will include that in the follow-up email as well. All right, so kind of where this is taking us, these integrations have been designed using our new OSDI API. So that's a lot of alphabet, so let me explain what that means. This is the Open Supporter Data Interface, which is an API, an application program interface, which allows progressive cause-based organization to transfer data between different systems. So APIs are common. The Databank has its own API. Most platforms have their own API, but they're always proprietary, which means every time you're working with an API, you have to figure out, okay, when they say this, do they mean first name? Oh, okay. And then what does this mean? Oh, that means the date. Oh, what is this? Because everything has a different name. Everything is in a different format. So there's a lot of work in making the APIs talk to each other. It's basically you have two people, not sharing the same language and having to use a dictionary to do all the translations. The OSDI API, the Open Supporter Data Interface, is intended to be used as a universal protocol for different platforms to use. It is being driven by a large number of progressive organizations that are using this, including the Databank and some others. Catalyst is using it. Van and MoveOn have all started using the OSDI API. Now, they're all in different stages of how well developed their version of it is. So as more platforms have fully featured or functional, as people have more fully featured and functional OSDI APIs available, we will be able to have more information or more integrations set up. All right. So as I said, if you want to access the brown paper tickets, you can send an email to clientsupport@thedatabank.com. And there is a Call Hub beta test sign-up form, which will be included in today's follow-up email. All right. So that brings me to the end of where did my other screen go? Oh, here it is. I tell you, that's what's happening sometimes. I get a little bit of technical action and everything gets a little messed up. Okay, so the next thing I want to point out is a few new things. One is a new advocacy action type. So if you're going into your advocacy, we have a number of different actions that have already been available. There is the message action, which sends an email to representatives or recipients. There's the phone call where you can place a phone, you can do a tweet, you can do all sorts of different things. But there's a couple new ones that have been added. One is they've added the Nope, they did take care of, they actually removed that one. There was a comment period, which is removed, so I am going to skip that one. And instead, what I'm going to be talking about is this one, the multi-channel. What a multi-channel action does is it allows you to set up a number of these other actions all within one. So instead of having to create an email action and then a phone action and then a Twitter action, what you can do is have all of that in one place. So what does that look like? Well, when somebody gets to the actual action itself, you'll see here at the top, it's going to be automatically loading the email message action. And that's here in this email. But I can also flip through. I can do my tweet action. I can do a Facebook action. And I can do a phone call action, all within the same place. So this really gives people sort of it's a buffet of ways that they want to communicate. Maybe somebody's only going to do phones calls. That's all they want to do. They find it much more effective. And this is actually set up not as the click to call, but click to call is also an option as well. Or maybe they just want to tweet, or maybe they want to send emails. It really gives the individual activists the ability to pick and choose how they want to send or a request or a notice to their elected representative. All right. And then the final change, which isn't like a huge change in terms of functionality, but what it is a change in the way we're displaying and presenting things to you. So when you are sending an action or an email, on the call, there was a question on the call screen, is there a way to include a suggested script? Oh, absolutely. Yep, that is absolutely included. When I was making this demo, I was kind of flying through and just wanted to have one set up, so I didn't put in a script at all. But yes, absolutely, scripts are included in phone call actions. Phone call actions have two flavors, one where you can provide a script and they do the call themselves. There's another one where they can do the click to call. So they click it, it calls their phone back. Then that phone call is connected to like their individual, whoever the targets of the action are. And you can even do a voice prompt like, okay, first you're going to do this. Here's the calling points, and you walk people through that way. Okay. So the big change that people may have seen in their, if they're sending power mail, is this number right down here. So I'm going to look at my selection right now. My current selection is 2,132 records. You can see that right up here at the top. 2,100 records selected. I go down here and it says send message to 555 mailable members. So that is a change because it used to tell you, would you like to send this to 2,132 people? But those 2,132 people were not all able to receive email. Now, why were they maybe not able to receive email? Well, of that number, some of them might have had unsubscribed. We won't send email to somebody who's unsubscribed, and that's a CAN spam compliance. They may have had a bad email address. We're not going to send email to bad emails. Or they may not have an email address at all. If they do not have an email address, if that email address is marked as bad, or if their record is marked as unsubscribed, they are removed from the mailable members in your current selection. That's why this number right here is reflecting the number of records that are capable of receiving the message you're sending. So it's giving you a much more realistic number to work with rather than that disconnect between looking at 2,000 records and then I go over to look at my results and I'm like, it was only sent to 500 people. What's going on? This is resolving that. There is a link here. You can find out more about mailable members and what that means. And I will also include that in our results or in my follow-up email. The other thing I want to mention in the results page is the results hasn't changed. The results is still the same page that it has been. We haven't added anything new, but you might have seen an uptick in spam complaints. So why are you seeing, right down here, why are you possibly seeing an uptick in spam complaints? Well, the uptick is not related to people changing their behavior or getting angry at that particular message. What has happened is we have added, it's called DKIM. It's a security measure to our emails. All outgoing emails are now being electronically signed by the Databank to verify that we are actually sending them and that we are legitimate senders. So what that's doing is that has actually, with that, that more enhanced setting on our power mails, on the ones going out, we have gotten a better feedback loop, specifically from Yahoo, but a few others as well. The feedback loop has improved. So that means people may have been marking your emails as spam, but Yahoo wasn't telling us that. So they were saying, well, you don't have this extra security feature, which, by the way, they didn't tell anybody about. But because that security feature wasn't on there, it wasn't getting us as much information. We were pretty surprised to find this increased feedback loop, but we're really happy because the more information you have, the more accurate data you get, and the better feedback we're able to get from email providers and or email clients, the more accurate the data in your database is, and the more reliable the information you have is. All right, so that brings me to the end of what's new in your databank right now. We covered the brown paper tickets integration. We covered the call hub integration, touched a little bit on the some upcoming OSDI work. That's really kind of a growing focus for us. We talked about some of the new action type, especially the multi-channel, which allows you to give people like a buffet of action types. And we've discussed the improved feedback loop on PowerMail. Now, are there any questions before I end today's webinar?
One quick question.
Yeah.
What did you call the electronic signature on your outgoing message?
Well, that's called DKIM. Domain key identifier. It's basically it's an encryption protocol using a public and private key encryption to verify sender identity. Different than SPF records. It's a very different thing. And I know a lot of people have been talking about SPF lately. I know I have.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I'm not hearing any more questions. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time out to join us. Apologize for the brief delay in getting started. And everybody have yourselves a great afternoon.
Bridget, online?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was there another question?
No, I was trying to catch Bridget if she was still online.
Okay. Yeah, Bob, I can speak with you offline. Do you want me to call you right back?
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. I got one question.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Thanks.